This is scene 2 of Death and the King's Horseman. So scene 2 takes place in the district officer Simon Pilking's bungalow, which is basically like a hut or a cabin. And Jane is Simon Pilking's wife. They are dancing, and they're wearing these gungun costumes, which if you don't know what that is, you need to look it up because they're very shocking costumes, and they were meant for basically death rituals in the tribe, in the Yoruban tribe. And so to wear them is to basically become death. And that's why Amusa cannot look at them. He says, I cannot look at person of death in uniform of death or whatever. And so he has to keep his eyes to the ceiling the whole time when he's talking to them. And that drives Jane and Simon, mostly Simon, crazy. There's a lot of things, especially Simon doesn't understand. By the end of the play, like scene 4, it seems like Jane is trying to understand the things about the tribe, but because in tragedy time is of the essence. There is a limited amount of time, and there's no like getting off the highway in hopes that something else can like be better. There's no timeouts in tragedy. So even though Jane might be on the right track to learning things, she's out of time. And so Pilkings, he talks about how he uses the word when they get this way, or you people, they. So there's like a division that Simon has established between him and the culture and the African people. He's not trying to understand their culture. He doesn't care if they commit suicide. He just is putting on the mask of control because the prince is in town. And that is one of the tragic visions. We have victimization of the feminine. We have the wearing of masks in tragedy. So this would be like the literal wearing of masks then in tragedy when Jane and Simon are wearing the gungun costumes. They're hiding behind these costumes, and they don't even realize how bad it is. They literally don't think about it. Like when the Musa is freaked out by it, like they don't understand, like literally don't understand why he's so freaked out. Like, oh, it looks fun. We're going to win the ball by wearing these costumes. We know that Amusa's a Muslim converted from the African religion, which is basically pagan, or you could say of the earth, or, pagan, I guess. Let's see. This is where Simon learns that Ellison's going to commit ritual suicide. And it's interesting that Joseph says he will not kill anybody and no one will kill him. He will simply die. It seems like their culture accepts death a little bit easier than ours does, because like in scene 4, Jane's like, how could you be so callous about people dying? You just observe their death like someone looking at bodies, and it's just so callous and harsh. And Alunde says things to kind of combat that, but I'll get to that in scene 4. Gotta make sure I don't forget anything here. So we know that Alunde got sent away. Well, he wanted to go to medical school in Great Britain, and Simon had helped him get out of Nigeria to do that. And so we know that Alunde is away at medical school right now. At the end of the scene, Pilkings and his wife Jane, Simon and Jane, sort of flirt a little bit with the fact that they've decided they're going to go back to the ball. But before that, Jane really admits her victimization or her like downgraded status in this patriarchy. And the reason tragedy is a patriarchy is because there's too much of the masculine. The masculine goes too fast. The masculine cannot look back and think about things, which is why Simon will never change. It's just moving too fast. It's just going and going and going and not looking back to see if there's anything that should be or could be changed. And so Jane's like, I'm not claiming to have known anything, or she says, I'm only trying to be intelligent. So even though she seems to be a very smart character and she could grow if this were a comedy, she still belittles herself to her husband because she wants to make him feel good, or feel like he's the boss. And even she says, all right, coming boss, at the end of scene 2. Okay, scene 3 coming up.